yeah, I'm going to put this little piece piece right now, me talking right now, this is being recorded at the end of an extremely long video, which I am going to post, finish up and post after I go to sleep. So yeah, this is just for my hardcore subscribers. Don't even think of trying to watch this if you're some newbie who's not interested in listening to me ramble. Some people actually like listening to me ramble, and this is definitely one of the long rambly ones. I'm just trying to clear the deck and make room for me to strive to do much more entertaining and short videos. So, yay. It's 6 a.m. September 27th, and I am just exhausted. All I want to do is fall asleep. But YouTube has just got me in a mental vice. I have so many vlogs, and I'm just falling behind on all the subjects that I want to talk about. So I gotta clear the deck of something today. I noticed after this last little fun drama with The Amazing Atheist, we like to call it fun, that I was suddenly getting another spike in subscribers, and that I was about to go over 1,000 subscribers. I was like at 987 or something like that. And on impulse, I decided that I didn't want to go over 1,000 on false pretenses, and I knew that I had a lot of, or at least some, suspended accounts and closed accounts still on my subscriber rolls, because I've never unsubscribed anybody that I can remember. So on impulse, I just decided I was going to go through them all and remove all the ones that were closed, all the subscribers that were closed or suspended. And this turned out to be about 100. I think the only one that I kept, the only suspended account that I kept was Nick Gisburn's, just for nostalgia reasons. And I'm pretty sure I accidentally unsubscribed 3 people who might have actually had active accounts. I'm sorry. I hope if I unsubscribe, at least 3 times I unsubscribed before I checked to see if they were still there. So if anybody discovers that they've become unsubscribed to me and finds their way to this video, this is the explanation. Sorry about that. It was a little bit just depressing or disheartening to see. I mean, there were a number of people who I knew to be trolls who had been suspended at various times, and they had been subscribed to me. But then there were also some people who I seem to remember as being really nice, intelligent interactors. Or I have a really bad memory for people's usernames, but I could swear that some of them I'd talked to, and they had been suspended, and they weren't like high-profile people, so I don't know why they got suspended. So anyway, but they're gone now. So I'm now down at whatever I'm at, 884. This was partially inspired by some recent ranting by certain YouTube atheists about subscriber counts and things like that, which is a joke among YouTube atheists. The most subscribed YouTube atheist is small fry compared to the subscriber lists of, your standard funny pet channel. it's nice to be prominent and all that kind of thing, but the subscriber list is just not that important. I'm kind of rambling. I'm just trying to clear the decks of some stuff. The other thing was, as some of you may know or remember, I set my private messages. The cat is lurking. I set my private messages to friends only, because not because I was getting a negative, not because I was getting haters or anything like that. I was actually getting, fairly nice cross-section of private messages, but I couldn't handle it. I just couldn't keep up with it, and they preyed on my mind seeing those numbers. But once I closed it, I just, the last 20 I just was hiding from, and those 20 last unread messages were just staring me in the face. And I'm not really sure why I'm doing this, but instead of trying to write out like little comments or something to these people, I'm just going to comment here in this video on the last 20. It's strictly who wrote to me last before I closed it down. These were not chosen for their specialness or anything. It's just a cross-section of who was left. Why I'm answering them in public, I don't know. I'm not going to mention the people's names because they sent me a private message, So anyway, and I'm going to send each of them a little message saying, I answered your PM in a video, Okay. July 28th, 2007. I am not a religious person, but I do not believe on the notion that God does not exist in any absolute sense. Okay, I'm going to try to interpret. I'm going to just assume that some of this wording is just accidental, and I'm going to try to interpret it in correct syntax, as if I could actually manage correct syntax. So really, you could just call me apathetic, or that I consider any thus hope or lack of hope as futile. Taking this into consideration, I watched your videos on Alan Watts. You say that Alan Watts is a good candidate for atheism. I don't think I said that. Don't know what that means. I firmly believe that all atheists who are capable of absorbing new ideas would benefit from reading Alan Watts, yes, if that's what you mean by candidate for atheism, I guess. But I cannot see this in any sense. I only make this comment out of actually going by your recommendation for reading The Wisdom of Insecurity. Yeah, I'd like everybody to read it. I'm glad you read it. And finding out what he had to say on my own. What I see in Alan Watts is a realist in the most absolute way I have ever witnessed, and this does not equate to atheism. Thank you for putting Alan Watts stuff on YouTube. I may not have read into him otherwise. I really appreciate you, man. I'm going to assume you're not a native English writer. Sorry. Okay, yeah. I'm not really sure what you mean. Well, okay. Well, now, atheists, of course, would tell you that they are absolute realists, that's the essence of being an atheist. But, I get maybe what the sense of what you might be seeing. It's what I see in the atheist community of YouTube. A lot of people who call themselves realists and able to see things for what they are, but who are still really just anti-theists. Oh, fuck. This is not going the way I wanted it to. I'm not really... Yeah, I don't... Okay, Alan Watts. Alan Watts did not call himself an atheist. And Alan Watts said some mean, or at least pointed things about atheists in some of his writing, and I may get around to like quoting those. And the atheists that he was talking about are the kind of atheists that I wish would read Alan Watts. But here's the thing, and I got to do some more. I have a bunch of Alan Watts videos that I have just, wanted to be in a, wonderful, sunny, perfectly balanced mood to do, and I'm never quite in that mood, so I should just do them. But the thing about Alan Watts is I've read a lot of comments on my Alan Watts videos where people say he wasn't an atheist. How dare you? You don't know what the hell he's talking about. And I'm going, well, okay, I don't think you know what the hell he was talking about. What did Alan Watts ever say that conflicts with the tenets of rational materialist atheism? He never said anything. He stated very clearly that his philosophy was predicated on the assumption that when you die, your personality ends, that there is no separate personal God in the universe, that science is not prevented by any kind of domain separation from observing the totality of reality. There's no natural versus supernatural. This should be a separate video. I challenge anybody who thinks I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about with Alan Watts, and believe me, I feel very insecure about how I have been presenting his ideas, but I feel that I know, even if I can't articulate, what he was about. And please tell me if you think that he had anything to do, or that anything he said was based on supernatural assumptions. Please tell me what you think they were, so that I can respond to them directly rather than just asserting them. Anyway, the bottom line is atheism and Alan Watts are not incompatible as far as I'm concerned, as I see it. And Watts himself, in some book, in fact, I think it was The Wisdom of Insecurity, said something to the effect of, if only atheists would go the whole way with their assumptions, they would get the surprise of their lives. And this is what it boils down to. I'm promoting the surprise of your life to atheists, which is that this is not the place to be talking about it. And anyway, fuck. I sat down here to clear the decks, and I can see I'm just getting deeper into subjects that need their own videos, and short videos, and pithy videos, and videos where I actually say what I mean. So I'm sick of myself. I'm sick of my 20-minute videos. I'm sick of looking at my list of videos and saying to myself, what the fuck did I say in that video? What did I say there? Are those good videos or bad videos? Was I close to what I meant there or not there? I've been thinking about trying to cut down my videos to the best of, but when I look at these 20-minute videos, I say to myself, I don't want to watch them again to find out if they're good. Okay, I think that's about enough about that one. So you have gotten your response. You know who you are. I will send you a PM saying that you're in here. Next PM. Hi, Metabob. I watched some videos on Alan Watts and liked what you said about his relevance for atheists. I thought I was on a spiritual journey, but soon after immigrating to the United States in 1999, wait a minute, I'm going to try to... I am interested in how spoken communication affects our ability to think, feel, behave, perceive, experience, and learn. I have attempted to write a book on the need for scientific communication and would like to hear what you think of it. I would like to send it to you in an attached email. No. No. I will not review anything anymore. Actually, as I've mentioned a couple of times, I spent 9 years as a reader, a script analyst, and I didn't want to be one. I learned a lot from it, and I'm glad I did it, but I have no desire to tell people what I think of their writing anymore, and I don't feel that I'm a good teacher, to help people. I weakened earlier, and someone here on YouTube who I like quite a bit in their videos and all this asked me to read something of theirs, and I read it and I gave comments, and I don't know, but I get the feeling that there has been some serious negative fallout from that. I don't know, but I won't do it. I will not look at stuff. Plus, I literally don't have the time. Sorry. Next one. This one's from July 31st, 2007. Metabob. In one of your videos, you said that you were a non-believer in God. Then you went and said that he smoted or smited you. So therefore you do believe in God. No, that was a joke. That was what we atheists call humor. Let's see. And I had a question for you. For all of the atheists out there, none of them believe in God. Well, to not believe in something, so you really actually have to believe it is there to not believe in it, LOL. I know it may sound a little confusing, but will you please comment me back or send me a message back? I would really appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Metabob, and I love your videos. So how could I... See, this is the perfect example of the difference between me and the Amazing Atheist. We can only imagine what the Amazing Atheist would say to this. There's a point in there that I agree with, which is that you can't disbelieve something that you have no conception of. You don't actively, proactively refute in your mind every possible idea that you might agree with. You can't possibly know them. So clearly, in order to deny the existence of God, you have to have an idea of God. But that's not a proof for the external reality of God. However, it is a profound issue, because with atheists, I think it really does matter what your attitude is to the idea of God, because you're stuck with the idea of God. And if you define your atheism as a war against the idea of God, then you are definitely creating a character in your head that is going to rule your life. Not exactly what you wanted, is it? I started out as an atheist, and I always felt that I owned the idea of God, not pwned, but owned. That it was part of my what is the word I'm looking for? Part of my inheritance. That it was part of being human. That human beings believe in God, and so I, as irritated as I get when theists either turn totally stupid about the internal contradictions of their beliefs, or become just as slippery as a pig about what it is they actually do believe. As much as that can irritate me, and I came on YouTube. I wasn't looking for atheists when I came on YouTube. I fell into the atheist community. I feel like this is like important stuff to talk about. So I guess I guess I have unfinished issues with it, but I wasn't really thinking about it when I showed up, and I don't want to pick on, the vast majority of the atheists on YouTube are like under 30, or at least the ones that make their presence felt. And I remember how pissed off I could get about people who don't accept the truth. And I've been, but why should I like try to preempt people from their own journey when what I want to get through to them is that they shouldn't be trying to preempt other people from their own journey, right? Infinite regression of things you're not supposed to do, and yet you got to clash with people to be yourself. So it's a paradox. It's a paradox. We'll have to ask the amazing atheist about it. He is the king of paradox. So I hope that didn't answer your question. August 3rd, we're getting closer. August 3rd, 2007. See, it isn't that I had huge numbers of PMs either. It was just that I couldn't stand to deal with them. Good evening, Metabob. I just discovered you on the web and watched about 12 of your videos in succession. I am a South African living in Ireland, and I am not on YouTube, and do not have any wait a minute. Okay, this is really long. Wait a minute. Should I read this? This is a really long one. I also liked your interpretation of... Wait a minute. I missed a compliment. Oh, I especially enjoyed the panda video about human angst that might be an accidental byproduct of our evolution, although I suppose, unlike the panda's ankle bones, the awareness of mortality is inevitable for an intelligent, conscious being. Yep. Zelda, are you about to create chaos and confusion? Okay. I also liked your interpretation of the Genesis creation myth and the original sin. Okay. Thank you for the compliments. I'm going to try to move through. Before birth, womb, opposites do not exist. Male, female, good, evil, bad cat, life, death, etc. But the moment we are blessed, cursed with consciousness, we are presented with a polarized world and are caught in the life-death dance of opposites and are confronted with choices, morality, thus human identity, cat claws in the back, thus human identity or consciousness started the moment Adam and Eve ate of the tree of knowledge, thus giving birth to human constructs like good, bad. Wait a minute, didn't I say all this? Hold on. I don't even know whether I agree with you or not. Oh, anyway, the reason I am writing to you, beside the fact that I enjoyed your virtual company, is the fact that I am a bit irritated with the atheist-theist debate on the web and on the media, Hitchens-Dawkins. And I think you are of the same opinion, and I might just give you some more ideas, encouragement to talk about. Before I start, I just want to say that I have an unbalanced intelligence and mediocre in most ways, and I have a terrible memory and poor English grammar. However, I think I appreciate good music, Mahler Mingus, good movies, Blow Up, Baghdad Cafe, etc. But I am devoid of any talent, so appreciate yours. Well, I don't know what to say. As someone used to say back in the 80s, I have absolutely no response to that. Therefore, I cannot understand how far more intelligent people than me can be religious, enjoy bad music, or have no understanding of the psychology of religion. Dawkins. Dude, I will be going out on a limb not backing this up, but I agree with that phrase, or I agree with that sentence in its entirety. I cannot understand how far more intelligent people than me can be religious. I want to understand. I can't understand it. But unlike certain people who have been making a big stink in the YouTube atheist community recently who I've been thinking a lot about but haven't been talking about. I don't understand it, but I accept it as a fact, and I don't think that they are dysfunctional. And I can't, okay. Yeah, I totally agree with you there. I can't understand how people enjoy bad music. Totally agree with you there. And I have no understanding of this, or have no understanding of the psychology of religion. Well, it's not so much the understanding of the psychology of religion. I don't know who hasn't I don't think people who have the psychology of religion understand it. Yeah. I think this video is going to be all about how all my ideas are half formed and just kind of fizzle out. The survival of the Abrahamic religions was extreme bad luck. Okay. God is an archetype. Are you familiar with Jung? Heard of the guy. Haven't read him. One can argue that God exists as a psychological instinct. Okay. Someday I will get around to videos on all these things, and I've talked about them before. By the way, I read some Alan Watts many years ago, The Watercourse Way, for example. You inspired me to read some more of his books. Yay! P.S. If you have a ready-made list of your favorite movies that you can cut and paste, I will appreciate it. I will try to remember that. But it's complicated. So, interesting. Okay, next letter. Hey MB, I just recently subbed to you on this account after closing my old one, but I've been watching your vids about 2 months ago and I've enjoyed them. I wanted to ask if you've seen anything of the debate on pedophilia that is currently raging between a group of atheists. Okay. Dendrophilian. Okay. Ooh, and this is from someone who's whose name I recognize, whose account was suspended. What? Okay. Pedophilia. Yeah. Actually, oh fuck. Yeah, I actually wanted to weigh in on the whole pedophilia thing, but it's a loser's game to even try to talk about this issue on the internet, because for every pedophile who's out there, there seems to be some kind of anti-pedophile who just gives off the vibe of a terrible creep. Why is that? Why? Yeah, I guess just in passing, try to nutshell my opinion of the whole pedophile crisis that we're facing in this world today. I just got a message. Pedophilia, I think, is rampant in the world and affects so many people's personality. You know, having been, traumatized sexually as children, that it forms the nature of the world we live in, and not for the better, I would think. Although it's a little bit hard to tell, since I don't think there's ever been a time when it wasn't a problem. But the people who devote their lives to hunting down pedophiles are not a new phenomenon either. They are part and parcel of this problem, I think. I think that whatever they're doing is not solving the problem and may in fact be contributing to it. The experts supposedly say that the majority of pedophiles were victims of pedophiles themselves. And if that's true, then unfortunately, having been victimized by a pedophile is a marker for dysfunctional behavior. And given that the people who seem to be obsessed with, you know, hunting down pedophiles must have some personal stake in it, you know? Fuck. Yeah, this is a loser's subject. Basically, I wish there were a way to put an end to pedophilic behavior in the world. But I see the spearhead of the anti-pedophile activist community, whatever that would be, as creepy and counterproductive. There's something wrong with these people who are constantly charging around looking for pedophiles. There's something wrong with them. And you know, one of the problems that Americans have is, and maybe everyone in the world has the same problem, which is that, you know, if you see a villain, you think that whoever's against them must be a hero. You know, and I don't agree. You can have two wrong sides fighting it out, who, you know, justifying their own existence, without either one of them being somebody you know, you want to join up with. Yeah, fuck, I hate the whole issue. August 15th. Oh, okay, wait, this is somebody I've answered before to some other stuff. What do you think of the Kardashev scale? Yeah, don't know what it is, and don't have time in this video to look it up. Probably, since I don't know what it is, and since I don't like the phrase scale, especially, I'm highly suspicious of any title involving the word scale that appears on internet communication, because I can't explain it. Okay, oh, all right. Well, here's someone I've talked to on the threads. I recognize the name, but I won't mention him because who knows what would offend people when they're sending you private messages. He just asks, I stumbled on a great atheist channel on this server. Its name is Pat Condell. I'm subscribed to Pat Condell. I haven't really watched all that many of his videos. The few that I've watched have been very concise, well thought out, unlike mine, and he's really well spoken, makes his case really well. I'm looking for another stance other than the militant theist basher stance. But among the militant theist bashers, he's definitely one of the most you know, elegant and presentable. So yeah, also an old guy, and I have to get behind that, you know. Okay. All right, here we go. Dear Bob, yay, oldster. Hello there, Bob. Let me first start by saying thank you for your videos that you've put. Okay, thanks. Yes, yes. Oh, especially anything about the late Mr. Watts. My name is blank, and I've been listening to Alan's audio lectures going on 2 years now and his teachings. I am not so familiar with his written works, though I am slowly reading the book. I have been wondering if you've listened to Alan's audio lectures as well. I have listened to all of the ones that I've seen on YouTube, and I haven't listened to the ones that you have to send away for and pay for. I really should. I should put my money where my brain is, I guess, but I haven't. But yeah, I think it's good to listen to him. It's good to read him. you know, he can sort of speak for himself. Increasingly, I have a couple more Alan Watts videos I really want to do that speak to specific issues. But more and more, I realize that I sort of don't talk too much about what exactly I think is important about Alan Watts to the discussion that I'm having, which is the atheist discussion. So I should probably try harder to, you know, speak about Alan Watts' ideas in my own words more in the future, like that. Yeah. So I don't know whether I answered you or not. September 7th. I haven't seen all of your videos, but if this is another person I know that I've spoken to before. I haven't seen all of your videos, but if you haven't already, have you ever discussed in detail oh, wait a minute, I read this and then didn't answer it because I didn't quite know how to answer it. I couldn't quite figure out if this was joking. He says, the prisoner's dilemma. Have you discussed in detail the prisoner's dilemma and its application? This comes mainly from Richard Dawkins' documentary, Nice Guys Finish First. Yes, I have. I was a little surprised. It seemed too coincidental that you mentioned it just, you know, not too long after I'd done a video about the prisoner's dilemma. It's called Can't We All Just Get Along, I think. I hope. So, yes, the answer is yes. I did do a video on that. Another one. Oh, okay. This one, this is a repeat of a question that also appears on my channel. So the name is out. RMedi1 asked this in public and repeats it here. Hey Metabob, what would you rather, an ugly lie or a beautiful truth? What would you rather have? What would you rather get, I guess? An ugly lie or a beautiful truth? I think I already know your answer, but isn't that what this religion versus atheism debacle is all about, and why it takes so long for us to shed religion and grow up as a species? To me, no. To me, no, because I think that my atheist truth is beautiful, and I think that what I reject in religion is the ugly part. You know, I find it morally reprehensible. It fills me with a kind of Old Testament righteous anger to think that there are people who can imagine a good God who would create creatures and then blame them for behavior that he set up and then torture them for eternity. I have absolutely no doubt that this is complete nonsense and it has no reality, but the idea that people can think it offends the hell out of me. This is not news for your typical atheist. You know, all atheists are offended by this, but the paradox is the thing that atheists must, if you want to say that you're not delusional and that you you know, deal with reality, the hardest thing to accept, because we don't have a good explanation for how it works, is that really good people can believe this. Blows my mind. Can't wrap my head around it, because it's the opposite of morality. It's so, you know, it's like their monkey nature coming through, you know? I don't know. So what was I saying? Oh, beautiful lie. No. It's not a beautiful lie, and it's not an ugly truth. It's a beautiful truth and an ugly lie. But in some other context, not religious, if you could make me believe a lie that I thought was beautiful, that would not come back to haunt me, that would stay beautiful, and I would merely be mistaken, and I thought it was beautiful, I would certainly prefer that to an ugly truth. If the ugly truth were going to jump up and bite me in the ass because I was believing a beautiful lie about something, then I wouldn't want to believe the beautiful lie. But, you know, say I contracted a rare disease that makes me feel euphoric, but the doctors know that this is the precursor to me suddenly keeling over dead. Well, I have no wife, no kids, no will, nothing for anyone to inherit but my book, so I don't really have to prepare. Hell yeah, if I started feeling euphoric and some doctor knew that it meant I was about to keel over and there was nothing anyone could do for me, and he said, "Oh, you've just developed the the euphoria characteristic, and you're just going to be happy for the rest of your life," and I was destined never to find out about this, sure, I would believe it. I'm committed to the truth, but it doesn't mean that I am committed to being right. More on this perhaps in a video in the decades ahead. Oh wait, Love Kraken. Well, you mentioned this. You said that this was here, and would I answer it on one of the public threads? So I mentioned you, Love Kraken, teenage filmmaker, Love Kraken. Hey Metabob, I wanted to ask you a question because of your work on Night of the Living Dead 3D. I might be making a non-comedic film with friends, around 30 minutes long. I've predicted to hopefully have finished by next year. We really don't have much budget, but to make it I'll either be using my friend's father's HD camera or my own handheld digital video camera. I think the former, and I'll possibly be editing on Sony Vegas by the time we're in post-production. I'm asking for tips, basically. Any advice you can give. I don't know what else to say. If you take the time to respond and help me, I'm greatly thankful. Good Lord, how can I possibly help you suddenly off the cuff right now, because that's all the help you'll get. I can't give you any technical tips if you're working in PC format, which I guess is Sony Vegas. I work in Final Cut Pro on a Mac, so I don't know what the issues are. If the HD camera is HDV is actually smaller files than DV, standard definition files. It's weird, but they have some other problems. But yeah, I think definitely do it in the HD if you can. My advice to you is this. Actually, I've seen a little bit of your stuff. I haven't commented. I don't think I've commented on any of your videos, but I saw enough of it to get the impression that you're probably pretty good with the acting aspect. From what little I saw, I got the impression you weren't committed to the idea that bad acting is good acting or something like that. So I'm not going to say anything about the acting. I think you're on top of that. If I had any advice to give you, it would be get coverage, get different angles on things. You should learn what different angles mean, but I can't teach this here. You've watched a lot of films and figure it out. But if I have one piece of advice for people whose work I've seen here, especially if they're going to do anything semi-dramatic, is learn how to edit picture and sound separately. Not separately. What am I trying to say? Stagger the picture and the sound. Don't have one person talk and then cut to the other person, have them talk, have the sound go from one shot to the next, back and forth. Learn, I wish I could recommend some books. There are these books by Edward Dmytryk. He was a director, Golden Age Hollywood director. He wrote a really good book on editing, where he basically explained the physiology of when to cut. knowing when to cut is a really good thing. And I don't really claim to be the world's greatest editor or anything like that, but I do know that that knowing when to cut is the most important thing, and it has a lot to do with the psychology of the audience member, what the person is looking for. You know, such rules as, for instance, you know, when someone is saying something, when we're listening to someone talk, we know what they have said before they finish saying it, because of the nature of at least English language. We pretty much can predict the end of the sentence, and so you tend to look to the person for a reaction. The person who's listening, you tend to look to them for a reaction before the other person stops talking. So when you're doing dialogue scenes, you don't want to. There are exceptions to this rule, but you generally want to try to cut to what the person watching is going to psychologically want to see, so that the editing becomes invisible. And now is not the time for me to try to explain it. Find Dimitrick books. Edward Dimitrick editing book is a really good book. Also the Walter Murch editing book, although it's a little more you know, philosophical and less practical. Anyway, yeah, I hope that was something. I support all young filmmakers today because I'm jealous, because I wish when I was a teenager I had modern digital filmmaking technology. It just, I don't know if you've looked at my Super 8 vlogs pretty early in the stack, but yeah, I'm really jealous of what teenage filmmakers ought to be able to accomplish given the equipment that they have. So there. And the last message is from someone I know and have had conversations with. Can you do me a favor? I have a YouTube friend named blank who makes these art videos, but she can't figure out how to compress them to under 100 megs, since you managed to compress what must be enormous files into blah 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 blah. Yes, okay. I use a program called VisualHub, and I will put a link in the window for this video to where you can buy VisualHub, and I will try to put some instructions about what the settings should be to get a good YouTube uploadable file. But I don't think my videos are the best looking on YouTube. There are people who I want to ask that question of. So, anyhow. Well, that's it. Good Lord, this is going to be long, and you know, I'm not going to cut it or